Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode of the Three Pillars of Man.
Yes.
I'm Alex James. I'm here with my brother.
Addison Corbin.
And today, my brother, the episode is titled Don't Become a Mark to Your Own Gimmick. The danger of losing yourself to the image you created. And here's a little intro thought before we get into the discussion topic today. There's a phrase in professional wrestling that says, don't become a mark to your own gimmick. In wrestling, a gimmick is the character a wrestler plays, the persona, the image, the performance. And being a mark to your own gimmick means you start believing the character is actually who you are. You lose the line between performance and identity. And honestly, this doesn't happen in wrestling. It happens in real life every single day. A lot of men create versions of themselves to survive, impress people, gain respect, attract attention, fit in, or meet expectations. The tough guy, the successful guy, the alpha, the provider, the gym guy, the party guy, the emotionless man, the always confident man. And over time, the performance becomes permanent. You start making decisions based on how people see you, what people expect from you, or the image you worked hard to build, not based on who you actually are. And eventually, you become trapped by your own persona. You can't be honest. You can't evolve. You can't admit weakness. You can't change direction because now you feel pressure to protect the gimmick. That's when the image becomes a prison. And the scary part is, many men don't even realize it's happening. They become so attached to the performance that they lose connection with the real thoughts, the real emotions, the real values, and sometimes even their purpose. Instead of being authentic, they perform consistent, not just online, not just socially, eternally. So the real question becomes, who are you when no one's watching? And have you become so committed to the image that you no longer know the difference between the gimmick and the man? And so the discussion question, my brother, I want to ask to get us started here is, at what point does confidence and self-improvement become performance instead of authenticity?
Yeah, that's a hard part to be able to say it because I think it's so individually purposed, right? So
Mm-hmm.
it's like the one thing that I may the line that I may ride is going to be different than the line that you ride,
Right.
right? But I think there's always telltale signs like uh, my dad, for example, has always been a very stoic,
Yeah.
you know, just a very not emotionally driven human being.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that has really become his persona almost,
Yeah. Yep.
right? Where
Yep.
it's like
Yep.
the idea behind I almost can't show any emotion or forgets how to show emotion.
Right.
And I would even go to say like that has transcended into my brother and I
Mm.
to where like this is going to sound kind of depending on your filter and your perception of things.
Right.
um I was having a conversation with Zyra the other day where I was like, I can't remember the last time that I was like super sad about something.
Mm-hmm.
I can't remember the time that I was ever like, do you remember waking up or going to bed Christmas Eve as a kid and you're like waking up the next day and you're like you can't even go to sleep
Yeah, he's just super
because you
excited.
like
Yeah.
can't tell you the last time I ever felt that.
Mm.
I can't tell you the last time I ever felt anything close to that,
Yeah.
right? And so that leads me to um, I've always been very focused on even killed, right? Like no matter what happens, I'm not super high, I'm not super low.
Mm-hmm.
And I have noticed like I do, I try not to rock that boat too much. And because of that, I feel like I've almost kind of lost that
The human aspect of it.
yeah,
Yeah.
because it to me, I'm not looking for I'm not looking for anything to make that jump.
Yeah.
And obviously like I'm not unhappy,
Right.
right? Like
Right.
I'm not depressed. I'm not like sad.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just I'm not I nothing jumps the scale
Yeah.
in either way. Like big commission check, okay? Like I'm I'm happy for a moment,
Yeah.
right? But there's nothing that jumps that thing like it used to.
Makes you super excited to where
Hmm.
like your emotions are just like uncontainable,
Yeah, no,
like uncontainable excitement.
yeah.
Yeah.
And I noticed that with my dad too, where like my dad is just always boom. And I
Yeah.
think it's even gone so far talking about what we're talking about, where it's like
Hmm.
I think it's gone so far in the other direction where there's there's no shown emotion other than like laughing on occasions,
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
You don't ever know if he's happy, sad, whatever. And
Hmm.
so I do see where like that pillar can swing all the way this way. And so I do try to lately I've been trying to because I don't think that I'm running from emotions.
Right.
I know that I am. Okay, well, let me back up. I know that I
Yeah.
am. Like I notice, like if I do get choked up on something, I'm not letting myself cry about it,
Hmm.
right? If I do see that I'm getting like a little bit more excited about something,
Yeah.
I don't really allow myself to go too far into that.
Yep.
Um, and so there may be running from the emotion, right? Or like let's say like you're watching a movie,
Hmm.
right? And let's just say it pulls on your emotions. Like, uh, how do you react in that moment for you? Like how do
Oh,
you react?
if I'm watching a movie,
Mhm. Let's just say you're watching something super sad and it actually like hits that bell.
yeah, I don't outwardly show it. I
Hmm.
will like internally feel
You
something like,
swallow it.
yeah, it's like if it's like a sad scene, like
Hmm.
I'll just sit there and it's more of like thinking,
Hmm.
you know, because like similar to you, my dad's a thinker, not much of a talker.
Hmm.
So, things I've observed over the years, he's always when you always see him or you see him by himself, he's always either talking to himself or he's always just in a like quiet state
Hmm.
where he's kind of just like thinking or running through different
Hmm.
scenarios. So, to your example, if I'm watching a scene in a movie that's like super sad, it's fun. It's actually if something's funny, I'm laughing,
Hmm.
right?
Hmm.
If it's like a one of those feel good moments, I'm like, oh man, that's good.
Hmm.
If it's sad, I just sit still.
Hmm.
So it depends on the emotion, and I think it like how you said it like the sad part. I don't necessarily want to.
Hmm. You don't want to cry.
You don't want to cry, but it is a sad scene in the movie. So yeah, I never really thought about it until you asked it that way. So
Yeah, I was just just thinking about it. I was talking to my cousin about it Tuesday because I was kind of like we were having a conversation about empathy
hmm.
and just the idea because he comes from a very similar background to me. Obviously, like our dads are brothers,
Right.
it's like we got that same lack of whatever it is,
Yeah.
right? And he struggles with things that I also struggle with in
Hmm.
that conversation where it's like I don't really feel anything,
Yeah.
but it's not negative to me.
Yeah, it's yeah, like it's not a yeah, it's like you said, it's not negative. I don't feel like it's making my life worse
Hmm.
or better. But I think it's because of one, how we always learn through observation
Hmm.
and then also through correction.
Yeah.
Sometimes I know for me, there were times and moments where, you're younger, you start crying about something
Hmm.
and you get the whole stop the crying, stop
Hmm.
crying and figure it out. Like, you
Yeah.
get those type of moments. So I think when that's said to you enough,
You start.
you start just doing it
Yeah.
and you don't even realize like, oh, it stems from
So like, there was a moment like when we were kids, right?
uh-huh.
We're at your house and you were up on the windowsill. You remember that?
Yeah, yeah.
And you jumped down. And I kicked you in the mouth. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
And I remember like seeing your face and like you were crying. I like you were just holding back that cry, right?
Yeah.
Like your eyes were watering, and I was like, oh. I was like, this just got weird.
Yeah,
You know what
yeah,
I
yeah.
mean? Like your friends crying, your mom had walked in like pretty soon after that.
Right.
And I was
She
like,
trying to figure out what just
mhm.
happened. Yeah.
And it was just one of those moments like I don't know why that's like embedded in my brain, but it is like I remember seeing you crying and I was like, oh man, like I messed up.
Yeah,
You know what I
yeah,
mean?
yeah,
And
yeah.
it's just like those little things, but it's just like that I felt so bad about. Like
Uh-huh.
I remember I felt so bad about that. Like I was like, man, I hurt my best friend, you know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
But it was like I can think about it and I'm like, I did have like I had emotions there, right?
Hmm.
Seeing you cry made me upset. But like I don't have that same button anymore,
Yeah, yeah.
you know?
Nah, that's because I feel like that too sometimes. Yeah, I feel like it's like you're trying to like if it's a sad moment, it's one of those things like you're trying to avoid like the disappointment
Hmm.
like or even sometimes like if it's a happy like if it's a happy situation, right? It's like I don't want to get too happy because I don't want to seem like I'm not humble or
Hmm.
so it's like you're always every time an emotion comes up, you're always like finding like a logical way out of it.
Yeah. And so with that conversation, kind of sticking to the emotional thing, like
Yeah.
this week, you know, we've been trying so long, and trying so hard to no, we've been
Hmm.
doing exactly what we are supposed to be doing. Our
Yeah.
content, our marketing is up, everything's working, and we all had like we posted 3 years ago, 4 years ago, we posted a video of a barnuminium
Hmm.
for the team, and it blew up. Like I'm talking 2 million views.
Yeah.
Everybody in
It was sweet.
bro,
Oh yeah.
everybody was on it.
Oh yeah.
The builder who built the property reached out to us from that video and was like, "Hey man, I built this. That's awesome. Love to see you guys marketing."
Yep.
Fast forward, things started happening. Like we stayed in communication with him. Never asked for anything. I was like, "Hey, if there's any way we can work together in the future, would love to do that. If not, that's cool. I know you got things worked out." Fast forward to recently, we ended up having like some conversation about like a current barndominium that they're doing. We did a lot of marketing for it, and we were gonna get the bid for it or to get the contract for it. And I was pumped, man. I called Will. I was like, bro, we got it finally. Like, it's all working. All this makes sense. And I caught myself being a little bit too excited. And I was like, I'm pulling myself back down a little bit.
Right.
Next morning, the other partner called us, whatever shit happened. They ended up going with the other guy. Um, and I remember being like, that's all coming. It's okay.
Yeah.
And that night I went home and I had just had that conversation with my cousin.
Hmm.
And I went home and I was like talking to Zara about it. I was like, I know this emotional thing has been a conflict for us. Like I don't really share emotion.
Yeah.
And so after having this conversation, I'm like, um uh, I probably need to share some emotion with you just so that, after that conversation.
Yeah.
Fast
Yeah. Yeah.
forward, I share the emotion. I had told my dad about it,
Mm.
like the moment that it happened,
Yeah.
and I was expecting a different result than I got. My dad was like, "Cool," you know what I mean? And in my head, the little kid inside of me was like, I just wanted him to be like, "Ah, that's awesome! Dap me up, give me a hug, whatever, give me a high
Right.
five, something." I remember trying to tell her like, it's not about losing the deal, like that sucks, and I'm pissed.
Absolutely.
Um, but it was like when I told him, I wanted a high five.
Yeah. Yeah,
Or
man.
like
You
some
want that?
nuts or
Yeah,
something.
man. You want that?
And
Yeah, man.
that I'm telling her that, and I'm like, my throat's tightening up. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh shit. Like that's
You're really pissed about it. Yeah.
mhm. And I'm like, but I'm also like upset that like he didn't give me a high five. I'm upset that he didn't give me some knuckles. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And that's what
Oh
was
yeah.
upset me. It's not the fact that like we lost the deal. Like you win and lose things all the time.
For sure.
But it was like I wanted him to react in this way
Yeah.
when I told him this information about like, hey, we got it.
Yeah.
Um, and I didn't get that. And I didn't really think about it, just kept it pushing. And then I realized, like, as I'm telling her that my throat's getting tight, my nose is starting to run, my eyes are starting to feel heavy. And I'm like, oh, I might cry.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And every moment that I was like it was every time it was coming, like I was feeling the throat get tight,
Mhm,
I would swallow it and it would just
mhm,
go away. And it would
mhm.
come right back up and I swallowed it again. And I realized at that moment, like, oh, this is not easy
Yeah,
because I've created this persona.
yeah,
Going back to the topic, I created this thing where like I don't show emotion. I don't feel anything.
yeah. I'm even kill all the time.
Hmm.
Yeah. Did you when that happened, did the thought come in your head like, see, this is why I don't tell my dad stuff, or this is why I don't get overly
No.
in
Uh
all like overly emotionally involved in tasks?
no, I didn't really think about it
Mm,
because it was I was just operating like, I was like I gotta get I'm just moving on to the next piece.
yeah,
Right? I gotta write the contract, gotta send the contract out, boom, boom, boom. So I really wasn't thinking about any of that.
yeah.
Mm-mm.
That's interesting,
Yeah.
man.
And it didn't actually none of that hit me until I was like having that conversation.
Yeah, yeah. I think like for that question, how it personally hit me is I think for me, I've had that similar uh similar kind of upbringing.
Hmm.
Dad was always the um never got too up, too down, but also in our and in his family, he's the let's ask dad, he knows.
Hmm.
He knows the answer. And I just remember every time I used to talk to my dad or have a question, he always had a very like articulated,
Hmm.
okay, yeah, this is scenario A, scenario B, scenario C, D, E, all the way to I had like six different scenarios of
Yeah.
like the one question I had. And so like seeing that, I always in my head was like, okay, I always gotta have like the answer, I always gotta be on, I
Hmm.
always gotta be ready for someone asks me this, I gotta have an answer for it. Or
Hmm.
if like someone, that was like what and it was funny thing is like he never like told me I need to be like that.
Yeah.
His biggest things was like, always research, like look up, if you have a question, make sure you look it up first
Hmm.
before you just go and ask.
Yeah.
That way, if somebody gives you a bad answer, you can kind of see if it's like, okay, is this a real answer or is this like bullshit?
Yeah.
And so I know for me, just that has always that has starting that young and I built that foundation of like I always gotta be on or always have the answer or always be ready or always like that performative part of me started early. I felt
Yeah.
like, and it's not necessarily anything my dad driven in me. It's just more of like what I've seen in him, and so it was just more. I mean, it was really more of like, I just want to be like my dad.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what I mean? So that performative part of me always started early to the point where I felt like that led into me trying to meet people's expectations and always trying to people please as well,
Hmm.
because it's like if I can have if I can like someone answers me a question and I give them the answer and they say, "Oh man, Alex, man, thank you. That was
Hmm.
that was awesome, man. You see, I always go to you because you knew it." It's like, yeah,
It's a dopamine spike.
yeah, it's a dopamine spike. And then the interesting thing enough is you that happens to you and like enough, right? You go from like the actual task of like researching and figuring something out.
Hmm.
You go from like the joy of doing that,
Yeah.
like that process, right? Like, because I feel like that's where I started, right? Like, I'm just curious of like what this is, so I'm gonna look it up, research it. So there was like a dopamine that hit from that in the beginning, but
Hmm.
then when you start tailoring that to trying to meet people's expectations versus your own, now it's like you're more looking for the applause of people when you help them with
Hmm.
something versus like you genuinely
Just wanting.
wanting, yeah, just wanting to help. And so I feel like now that in my 30s, I'm it's almost like I'm overcorrecting because it's like I was doing that for so long where like I would sometimes sacrifice my own like schedule and happiness and my own feelings about something to make sure like that person got what they needed or that person felt like I met their expectation.
Yeah.
To now it's like, all right, Alex, let's rewind here and let's I feel like now I'm in this stage of like, okay, who is Alex James
Hmm.
without external validation,
Right.
without somebody saying like, "Oh yeah, Alex, I always saw you as the, you're the football guy, the guy that's, the guy that's always in shape,
Hmm.
you know." And it's just like when I was younger, I felt like I was always telling myself like, "Oh, like, nah, man, I'm just a regular dude, you know."
Yeah.
But then I started thinking about it, I was just like, did I actually play into all that?
Hmm.
Did I actually like let that influence like my internal
Hmm.
thoughts about myself to where like I feel like I couldn't there's no room for error.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like I always gotta be the in shape guy, always gotta
Hmm.
be like the organized guy, always gotta
Hmm.
be the oh yeah, Alex got his shit together.
Yeah.
So, you know, always gotta be on. And now I feel like I'm starting to peel back the curtains and start to see like, okay, just ask some more questions about like,
Yeah.
somebody asks me to do something or somebody like gives me a compliment or something or criticism or whatever. It's like, all right, Alex, how do you truly feel about what just happened? Are you
Right.
chasing that external validation? Are you just doing it so they can tell you good job? Or are you doing it because you want to do it? And so now, because I feel like for me, I finally got to the point where I'm okay with being the villain of the situation.
Amen.
Where like if I say, "Hey man, I just don't have the capacity to do it," or "Hey, I'm not doing that," or whatever,
Yeah.
I'm okay with failing your expectation of what I need to do for you. I'm okay with that now. As of back then, I would do everything I can to try to meet your expectation of what I need to do for you.
Yeah.
And so now it's like I'm at peace with saying like, it's like, "Hey man, I just can't do that for you," or hey, I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't have the answer for you. And I'm not going to bend backwards to try to get it for you.
Yeah.
And so I think for me, um, back to the discussion, when does self-confidence and self-improvement become more of a performance and authenticity? I think overall it's all about the what you're doing, the self-improvement and what your confidence is based on,
Yeah.
and what's the intention of the confidence and what's the intention of the self-improvement. Are you just confident because somebody tells you you're confident and more people are just telling you that? And so now you're buying into it? Or are you actually confident in
Yeah.
who you are?
Have you done the work to stay true to what you actually do and say?
Exactly. So now for me, it's all about, which is why like I just feel like now I'm not trying to be everywhere. I hang out with you. I hang out with, Eric. I'm not trying to be everywhere. I'm not trying to be everybody's friend. And
Hmm.
I'm not saying that in a negative way,
Yeah.
but I'm trying to keep my world small, especially right now, because I have some more figuring out for myself.
Yeah.
Like more of like questioning, even questioning like my foundation.
Hmm.
It's just like, Alex, are you confident in yourself because you're confident in yourself? Or are you confident because people told you over the years you're this, you're that,
Right.
so yeah, that's my like personally how that discussion question
I like that.
applied to me, man. And
I like
so
that.
to end it here, how does what we've talked about today impact the mind, body, and spirit?
So we got like 10% battery left.
Okay, we can make this
Yeah.
quick. Yeah, we can make this quick.
Um, so as far as what it means to me is be cognizant of yourself,
Mm-hmm.
right? I understand that there's so many things in life that we have got to be for other people,
Right.
right? Like we have priorities for other people.
Mm-hmm.
But to, some people say to meditate, some people say to focus on, nothing and be in an empty space, and that's where peace comes from or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
I used to believe that, and I used to try that, like in the sauna. I used to just be in a peaceful space. I've realized now that it's better for me to be in that quiet, in that space, and just focus on one thing that I need to work on in my life,
Mm-hmm.
right? How do I perceive what's happening in my life? What do I want to happen? Because again, it goes back to you only have one life,
Mm-hmm.
and you've got to make sure that it's yours.
Yeah.
And it's easy to get pulled, like you said, in so many directions. And I think all of this kind of pulls into like that. If you were, if you are paying attention to yourself
Mm-hmm.
and doing the things that, like you said, you have you're the foundation of a man. You have the spine to know when you need to do something, who you are and what you stand for, and then the chin to back it up just in case you
Yeah.
need to.
Yeah. Yeah.
um, that I think is the foundation of a man. It's not someone who doesn't show emotion. I think it's someone who is able to control their emotions and be able to um, effectively stand for themselves
Yeah.
on what they believe in. And, right or wrong, some people stand for crazy things, but you can't be mad at somebody who's doing their thing and expressing themselves and backing that up.
Yeah. Right, wrong, or indifferent. If they say mean what they say and say what they mean,
Yeah.
I mean, you have no choice but to respect that.
That to me is a man,
Yeah.
and that ultimately foundationally is what all of this is for, right?
Yeah.
If you believe in God, then stand for that.
Yeah.
If you believe in, your morals and what you believe is right, and you continuously go through your day to focus on that,
Yeah.
copy that.
Yeah.
And that keeps you away from falling into,
That's it.
as long as it's not fake, right? As long as it's
Right.
real.
Right.
That would be my opinion. Go ahead.
No, I love that, man. That's not took the words out of my mouth, but no, I wholeheartedly agree. Fully back what my brother here is saying. I think you're from a mom perspective, you have to really sit there and figure out like, okay, why am I doing this? Who am I doing this for? Am I doing this for me? Am I doing this to appease people?
Hmm.
Or am I doing this just to uh, play into an expectation of what people have built for me? But you have to realize those are those are their expectation of you, not your own expectation of yourself. I feel like from a body perspective, um, I kind of touched on it earlier. It's like if you're going to the gym to build a healthy body and that's the goal, that's awesome. But if you're going to the gym to feed into your own insecurity, then you're just building a armor.
Hmm.
So you're not really building the actual body. You're just building the armor because the intention behind why you're going to the gym. So I think again, it kind of plays into the mind as well. You have to figure out like, okay, why am I trying to get healthy, or am I just trying to feed into an ego, or I'm trying to puff myself up, even though on the inside I'm insecure about myself,
Yeah.
which actually happens a lot to a lot of people.
Hmm.
And I think from a spirit perspective, um, you have to. I'm gonna say for me personally, when I shifted my focus from what can I do to please God versus what can I do to please others. That whole like you saying like standing on principles and standing on 10 about things is easier because now your belief and your the blueprint is different now
Hmm.
because now you're trying to live a more spiritual and godly life versus more of like trying to live a life where you're trying to feed into people's expectations of yourself.
Right.
So once I feel like my shift went from what can I do to please God versus what can I do to please people, I'm okay with being the villain of the situation
Right.
because I know I'm backed up and my belief is overall on, hey, I'm doing this because God told me I need to do it this way.
Yeah.
I'm not doing it because of I'm trying to please you. So that wraps up the three pillars of man. Like, share, subscribe, share with your friends, family, and loved ones. Again, this is just two brothers just having an authentic conversation about how we can continue to improve the mind, body, and spirit. Peace.
Peace.